Hello, it's me again, Melton Guy, here with another thought. I want to go ahead and plug my book, The Offspring of Ignorance by J. Melton Guy, that you can find on Amazon. I'd appreciate it if you'd just check it out. And then my wife's book, Leaving Small Town. This is about a woman from a small town and some peril that she gets into and how she gets out of it. But it's a good book, and I think you will enjoy it. But it's also on Amazon by Sue Guy. The Offspring of Ignorance, Leaving Small Town by J. Milton Guy, Leaving Small Town by my wife, Sue Guy, Offspring of Ignorance by J. Milton Guy, which is me. I also want to ask you to hit your like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my podcast, I would appreciate it if you would. Help me get some words across to those of you out there. As they used to say in TV land, I don't know if they say that anymore. But anyway, if you would, and not only me, but Jesse Dollamore and Tennessee Brando and Alan Mockery, Steve Shives, Michael Popot. There are just so many out there that's trying to let you know what's going on, and they're telling you the truth. They'll tell you, as I always say, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they'll back up anything they say. They won't try to whitewash anything or overlook anything. But at the same time, I tell you to go to Fox, check them out, and all the other sources out there. You read, you listen to them, you compare them, and then, as I always say, so important, check them out. Fact check is the word today, I guess. J.D. Vance. Now, here's a man that went from calling Trump America's Hitler to partnering with that same individual, America's Hitler, Donald Trump, become next in line to the presidency. I do not like J.D. Vance yet. I may like him one day. But I do not believe a person says all the things that J.D. Vance said about Donald Trump in his past, about being America's Hitler, being unfit to be president of the United States. Never a Trump person. And then all of a sudden, as I said, here he is running on the vice presidential ticket with Donald Trump. It's hard to find any respect or like for an individual like that. Of course, there's no skin off his nose. I realize that. But this is my podcast. As much as Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, is a MAGA wolf trying to wear sheep's clothing, and not very successfully at that many times, I would rather he be the next in line for the president. And almost anyone else, to be truthful, than this mystery man of fickleness, J.D. Vance. That line, however, next in line to the presidency, does not say what we all need to hear and understand. Because this is what I believe. J.D. Vance didn't change his mind about Trump. He simply changed his views, his own views, his convictions to those of America's Hitler, as Vance called him, Donald Trump. Family man. I heard Melania Trump a few days ago refer to Donald Trump as a family man. I almost fell out of my chair laughing. Then I got sick. And you know, I felt that same sickness during the entire vice presidential debate when Vance, with an attempted warm smile, talked about his wife and his children. And with that in mind, I ask you, J.D. Vance, are you saying you won't mind if your children grow up with the same ideals as Eric and Don Jr.? Are you saying that? I ask you, J.D. Vance, if you ever say, if she were not your daughter, I would probably be dating her. Is that what you changed to? Did that go along with the other things? I ask you, J.D. Vance, by partnering with Donald Trump, are you suggesting to your children that it's all right to rape a woman, to seek out prostitutes, to live a philosophy of sometimes you just have to say, you just have to grab some pussy. Forgive my French. I ask you, J.D. Vance, are you teaching that family you say that you love so much and you refer to so often in your debate that it's all right to make up stories that devastate the lives of other people, other human beings, if it gets your feeble point across? I ask you, J.D. Vance, do you sit your children in front of the TV and show them from the beginning to the end the insurrection on January the 6th of 2021 and call it just a day in the park? You know, unless, of course, you watch it on Fox. And if you watch it on Fox, are you happy with your little deception of the facts with your children? I ask you, J.D. Vance, when your idol Trump was nuzzling for a while with Laura Loomer for everyone to see, shamelessly, did you say, look, children, this is a great family man? I ask you, J.D. Vance, family man, inventor of vicious lies for attention, king of being fickle, do you think you have forever to love? Do you think you have forever to teach, to train, and to point out, not just to your children, but all children, on the issues of morality, goodness, honesty, and that very rough road to happiness sometimes? I asked you, J.D. Vance, do you think you have done this to this point? Now, a quick yes is not going to do. You need to think about it. I know what I'm talking about. You really need to think about when what you love is gone. Even when you think you did the best you could, you still cry, whimper, lay awake at night, asking yourself, did I do enough? I ask you, J.D. Vance, can you look at the presidency, really, of Donald John Trump and at the end of his presidency of Donald John Trump and all the things he said and done between then and now? I ask you, J.D. Vance, do you hold this man up as a model of a United States American citizen doing the best for his family and his country. Do you do that, J.D. Vance? I ask you, do you think you have all the time in the world to tell your children, to train your children in the way they should go? Last Saturday, I survived yet another anniversary of my son's death. The third one, and it was no better than the first or second anniversary. You know, I wanted to tell him 1,000,000 more times how much I loved him. I wanted to hug his precious body 1,000,000 more times, and then some. I wanted to talk to him again and again and again about life and how to live it. He was a good boy, an affectionate boy, and I thought I would enjoy all those things for years to come. But in the twinkle of an eye, he was gone, except in my heart. Everyone tells me I was a good daddy, but I still suffer over what I didn't get to do. I don't only ask you, J.D. Vance, but all of you. Do you hold up Donald Trump as a role model for your children? How will that pan out? Even as conditions were, my son, I thought I would have him forever. And then, as I said, in that twinkle of an eye, he was gone. He never saw me hold Donald Trump up as a role model. He never saw me hold Bill Clinton up as a role model. I want you to remember that you can't put it off on somebody else. Because sometimes when I say these things, and the reason I mention Bill Clinton is because I will say something, yeah, but what about Bill Clinton? No, I never held him up, and I would not. But I'm certainly not going to say, well, since Bill Clinton did it, it's all right for Donald Trump to do what he did. And besides, Donald Trump makes Bill Clinton look like Mother Teresa's husband if she could have had one. This is what I'm saying to you, J.D. Vance, and all of you out there, mamas and daddies. You only have them for a while. You think you have them forever, but you only have them for a while. And there are more ways to lose them other than by death. And whatever it is, the path they take or the death they suffer, I'll assure you, you'll think or say, it all happened in the twinkle of an eye. I thought I had all the time in the world to straighten this out, but it happened in the twinkle of an eye. We have 30-something days left until this next election. And I'll be voting for Kamala Harris. Not the perfect Kamala Harris. Not the ideal Kamala Harris. But the real Kamala Harris. If you're not registered, or you think there's a chance you're not, get out there and register. And you be sure and vote, and you go to your polls, and you cast your ballot for the next president of this country so we can move on. Move on. I'll be doing that just as soon as the first day of early voting comes. My wife's already said that she will be voting in the same way. But we will be voting for Kamala Harris because it's Kamala Harris, not against Donald Trump. Although I will say up front, it is against Donald Trump. But I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you, if you don't know if you're registered, at least check on it and then go vote. Go vote for Kamala Harris. I love you all. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you on the next roundup.